This problem has to do with an investor who hears of a good investment that's supposed to go up, maybe get some insider information. That today the rate on the investment is really low, but we're going to assume that it jumps up to 11% 3 months later. So what we have going on is in part A, we'd like to know if we make the minimum investment, which happens to be $8,500, in order to buy into this without any fees, and we're going to assume that interest is compounded monthly. What can we expect to have in 5 years? Assume the second rate remains in effect until you withdraw. Okay, so what's going to happen is we're going to start at time 0. The investor is going to put in $8,500. Now 3 months later, we're going to have to recalculate, because what's going to happen is there's going to be a new balance, and that new balance is going to be based on having 0.5% for 3 months. Then what he's going to do is, while we don't really see it, that money is going to be continually invested. So $8,500, we're going to find out what that becomes in 3 months. So I'm going to go to my Tvm Solver, and I'm going to set my N to be, in this case, since it's 3 months, we'll do 3 months. The interest rate is 0.5%. Initial deposit is $8,500. No payments. We're going to calculate the 3-month future value, and the compounding periods are monthly, so we'll leave those as 12. Now I'll calculate. So after 3 months, my $8,500 has earned $10, and so now if I were to withdraw that money, or if the investor were to withdraw that money after 3 months, he would have $8,510.63. Well, but that money is going to continue being invested, because just because the interest rate changed doesn't mean the investment's over. And now at 11%, this money is going to accumulate for, well, let's see, 3 months all the way up to 5 years. So 5 times 12, 5 years is 5 times 12 months, which is equal to 60 months. So at 60 months is when the investment ends. Okay, so I'm going to re-enter this number here as my present value, because that's my new dollar amount. You can kind of think about this as he withdraws the money, but he puts it back in immediately. And this is going to be at 11%. Now, how many months is this going to be for? Well, it starts at 3 and it goes all the way to 60. So that's 57 months worth of time. So I'm going to type in 57, interest rate 11, present value negative 8510.63, and I'm going to calculate my future value, which is going to be 14,316. And a little bit of change, 83 cents. So there's my balance after 5 years, assuming that this interest rate takes place, this 11%, and continues for the remaining 57 months. In part B, we would like to know what we need to do today so that we end up with $75,000 in 5 years. Now, this is not a very difficult thing to find, except we need to make sure we set the problem up correctly. So we know still that an interest rate change is anticipated to take place at 3 months and last all the way through 60. So this is our 0.5% interval, this is our 11% interval. Now all I know now is I need to end up with a future value of $75,000. Well, I can't just go back 60 months to a present value because there's an interest rate change. So what I need to do is figure out how much I had over here back at month 3. So back at month 3, to find that, I'm going to back up 57 months. And the way I'm going to do that is at 11%, is I'm going to start at my 75,000 and see what that amount would have been 57 months ago. So I'm going to calculate a present value. Well, it would have had to be $44,583.70. So $44,583.70. Okay, well, that brings me back 57 months, but there are 3 months here that remain, and those were at a very low interest rate, so those probably won't have much of an effect. But I need to change this to 0.5%, and that's for 3 months. Now, if you think about it, the $44,583.70, that's a future value for months 0 to 3. So I'm going to change my future value to $44,583.70 and figure out what I would have had to invest 3 months ago in order to obtain this amount of $44,583. Now you notice the difference is very small. It's actually $44,528.02. So basically what we're doing is we're backing up and figuring out, okay, if I start with this, what do I need to have way back here at time 0 in order to be able to accomplish that? And I have 2 steps. Get it back to 3 months and then get it back to 0 months. And that's a pretty big lump sum that I need in order to be able to accomplish that. In letter C, we want to find out if we were to put away $9,000 today and to have a goal of $75,000 in 5 years, under this rate structure, we're told that it's impossible. And we want to prove this statement with mathematical support. So, the way we're going to do that is, well, we can just start over here and say, if I had 9,000, well, basically, same process, and you can probably see that this is not possible already, because in order to have 75,000 under this rate structure, I would need to deposit $44,000. But we're just going to go ahead and prove it to ourselves because we might need this in part 2 of letter C. And so we'll go ahead and do our calculation. Negative 9,000 at 0.5% for 3 months will be worth, in 3 months, $9,011.25. Okay, so that's what that would be worth. Now, if I were to fast forward this 57 months, how much would I have in 57 months at now the new rate of 11%, present value of negative 9,011.25, because that's now what I have after 3 months of investing, and that means I would have $15,158.99. That's what I would have. Now notice the shortcoming. So I am short $75,000 minus $15,158.99. That means what I still need, 75,000 minus $15,158.99. I still need $59,841.01. So that's my shortcoming. And I'm asked in this problem, what would it have, if I were to put in a lump sum at month 3, when that first interest rate change takes place, what would I have to put in at the 3-month mark, in addition to everything that I've already put in order to make that $75,000 target? So I'm doing some planning and I see, holy cow, you know, if I only put in 9,000, I'm going to be short by $59,841.01. So really the question is now, if I start here at month 3 and I come all the way over here to month 60, what do I have to put in as one lump sum in order to accumulate that to my deficit? I need to have $59,841.01. I don't know what I need to put in here in order to offset that that deficiency, so I'm going to come over to my Tvm Solver and I'm going to type this in. Well, that's 57 months at 11%. I'm going to figure out what my present value is in order to make that deficit of $59,841.01. So I'm going to calculate my present value, and I find that, so I'm going to call this the deficit analysis. And I find that I would need to put away at month 3 $35,572.45. So this is what I need to put in. This is my lump sum at month 3. And that will accomplish it, along with my original $9,000 at month 0 and $35,572.45 at month 3, I can make $75,000 in 60 months.